What's up, people? Back again with a comparison video, this time taking a look at several arcade golf games on the Switch: Mario Golf Super Rush, Golf Story, and What the Golf. You don't have to like golf really at all to enjoy any of these games. However, if you are looking for an actual serious golf game, check out PGA Tour 2K21, preferably the Series X or PS5 version. The base golf is pretty good, and it notably comes with the best course designer in the history of sports gaming, and I could honestly do a whole video on that alone. With all that being said, let's tee off. The latest Mario sports title comes Mario Golf Super Rush, Nintendo's first home console golf experience since Toadstool Tour in 2003 on the GameCube, and the first one in general since World Tour in 2014 on the 3DS. I grew up on a lot of different Mario sports titles, so anytime a new title is released, I always add it to my collection, no questions asked. In this case, that ended up being quite a mixed bag, which I'll explain as we go through the game. Right out the gate, there are several game modes and options to play from. Outside of the main golf adventure mode, there's a mix of solo, local, and online play. Oddly enough, there is no traditional tournament or career mode, if you will, which is an extremely odd decision to not include in a golf game, and ends up hurting the replay value immensely, at least for now. There are several character-based accomplishments to complete, but there is still not much incentive to do so when it's all said and done. Initially, there are a lot of things to like about Mario Golf. It introduces a ton of cool twists to the arcade golf experience that feel very Nintendo, for lack of a better word. Speed golf and battle golf, where you compete against other players in real time, are neat ideas. I particularly liked cross-country golf, where you were given the entire golf course or map with all the holes at the same time, and you need to complete them in any order in any way possible. Honestly, I wish the game revolved around this playstyle more, as that could have been an incredible and unique experience. Imagine 18-hole courses laid out in the Mushroom Kingdom, and I start to get flashbacks to Super Mario 64, but with golf. And that would have been so cool. In general, that sums up my experience with the game. It has some cool ideas, but doesn't do anything deep or all that interesting with them in the end.
Chip it. Nice birdie.
Mario Golf ends up falling majorly short in two very specific places for me. The first and most important, in my opinion, is in the actual golf and golf controls themselves. Even with the different game modes to choose from, the gameplay comes across as a bit dry for an arcade experience, with courses that feel more like Wii Sports than what Mario Golf should be. Essentially, it feels like it's not arcadey enough to be a Mario Golf game, but also too random to be a good arcade sim hybrid as well. I really wish the game sank into one direction or the other, but instead it feels like it has an identity crisis when playing.
Go, go!
The second place it falls short is in the golf adventure mode, which should be one of the selling points. It feels like the bones are good for what should be an entertaining RPG experience, building up your Mii golfer as you progress. And at first I was so hyped to adventure into the universe, and the presentation is awesome. However, for many reasons, it is way too shallow to hold your attention for long and feels more like a glorified tutorial than an actual adventure mode experience. It isn't bad necessarily, but extremely basic, especially when pitted up against this next game. For any of you that have watched my video on the best underrated Switch games, which I'll link to here, you probably already know my love of Golf Story. I am not shy in saying it is simply one of my favorite Switch games, happens to be a Switch exclusive, and just happens to revolve around golf. It is best described as a light and light-hearted RPG experience, mixed with top-down, old-school 16-bit arcade golf. It is honestly everything that the golf adventure mode in Super Rush should have been, but just happened to be released almost 4 years earlier. You begin your adventure as a young golf pro who is trying to work their way up through the ranks by competing in tournaments. However, this is not a traditional career mode by any stretch of the imagination. The wonderfully colorful and charming characters that inhabit the various golf clubs you encounter are delightful and require you to complete some strange side quests along the way. This is the highlight of the whole experience because in one moment, you might be competing in a 9-hole golf tournament just to be playing disc golf or hitting golf balls at turtles in the next. I also love the simple freedom the game gives you, a feeling that I never got when playing Mario Golf. The overall world building is fantastic and is a major factor that contributes to that feeling. You can literally tee up or throw golf balls at any point as you run around the map. This isn't just for fun, although it can be pretty hilarious at times, but there are also many puzzles and secrets to figure out in the process. I love the attention to detail in the game, which combined with the wonderful writing creates a memorable and delightful experience. Outside of the main adventure mode, there's also a local multiplayer option where you can play through any of the courses in the game using whatever rule set you'd like. It's nice that this is included as it does add to the replay value of the game and provides a nice distraction if you actually want to focus on putting up the best score that you can or just messing around with your friends. The golf itself, even in its top-down 2D 16-bit form, still feels considerably better than the golf in Mario Golf, partly because it is more technically responsive and doesn't throw in the many random elements that Mario Golf does. If for some reason you have not picked up this Switch-exclusive gem, honestly do so right now and get ready for its sequel, Sports Story, coming out within the next year or so. Yeah, I don't really know where to start with What the Golf, and that's also kind of the point of the game. The very fitting tagline for the game is golf for people who hate golf. I honestly didn't know what to expect with What the Golf, and it still threw me for the loop, but in the absolute best way possible. It is like a wonderfully weird combination of a WarioWare title mixed with golf puns, and really is the funniest game I have played in a long time. This is just one of those games that you have to play yourself in order to understand why it's so much fun. As you go through the game's main mode, you're tasked with completing a level by sending a golf ball, or person, or office chair, or whatever else to the hole. Sometimes it's in 2D, sometimes it's in 3D, and you never quite know. It's absurd, doesn't take itself seriously, keeps you constantly guessing, and that's all part of the fun. After completing any stage, there are then 2 more variations to complete on top of that. The first is completing the same stage in a set amount of shots, or under par in golf terms, while the last is usually a weird variation on the first 2, usually more of a challenge, and to keep you really guessing. After completing all 3 versions of the same level, you earn a crown for that particular stage. There are hundreds of stages to go through, all of which keep your attention nicely, and it never grows stale, somehow. Kind of the opposite of Mario Golf, What the Golf also ended up surprising me with how deep it actually was, and how much replayability is packaged in there, especially for a level or stage-based game. There are daily challenges and leaderboards, versus modes, different DLC level packs included, and plenty of other stage variations to keep you coming back. It ends up being an extremely well-rounded and focused package that will delight almost anyone who plays it. Don't let the simple presentation and its original roots on iOS scare you. This is the funniest game I've played in a long time and deserves all the praise and attention it's already received. In the end, all of these arcade golf games have redeeming qualities and enjoyment can be found with any of them, especially for the right audience. Mario Golf is pretty much as expected with some neat tricks up its sleeve, but loses a ton of points for being somewhat shallow, with gameplay and course design that wasn't as addicting or charming as it should have been. Golf Story, while is simply one of the most creatively original games I have played in the last decade that I cannot recommend enough and is a must-have for your library. And finally, What the Golf really just came out of nowhere for me and honestly threw my expectations out the window with a surprisingly deep and hilarious WarioWare-esque experience that also gets my full recommendation. That's all for today, everyone. Please subscribe for more content just like this, and thanks again for watching to the end. Happy gaming!